of your book is you suggest there may have been a coup in 1982. Could you elaborate on that?
Okay, there's a document. It's one of the exhibits in my book. It's called the Modification of Final Judgment, USA versus Western Electric, AT&T et al. And it's basically the breakup of AT&T that took place in 1982. And it was in the U.S. District Court of New Jersey. Anyway, it's an exhibit in the book. Forget which exhibit it is. It might be Exhibit C, I'm not sure. But anyway, it authorizes a secret facility for the purpose of tapping all the phones in the United States.
Yeah, it's Exhibit C, it appears.
Yeah.
You know, my understanding about the breakup of AT&T was that Richard Nixon got ticked off with the company because it wasn't playing ball with them by allowing them to wiretap at leisure.
Well, I don't know. That was the breakup was in '82, and that was a long time after Nixon was out of office. I think it might have had something to do with the fact that I sued them in '81 and claimed that they tapped my phone. They wanted to protect themselves from liability for lawsuits like mine. And at any rate, the secret facility is basically a takeover by the federal bureaucracy, and particularly the Defense Department and the Justice Department, in cooperation with AT&T, so they can tap everybody's phone. So now they have one up on all of the senators and congressmen and even the president. They can tap everybody's phones and be one step ahead of them all the time. And in fact, for all practical purposes, they took over the government. But they didn't really come out and say that they took it over. They've been very quiet about it. But I have always been able to predict what's going to happen next because I knew about this. And that's how I predicted 9/11.
Tell us more about that, yes. What were the circumstances that led you to predict 9/11?
Okay, well, first of all, I didn't predict the time, place, or the method. I just knew it was going to happen. And the reason was because the Justice Department and Defense Department and the phone company had been tapping phones for over 20 years, for almost 20 years, and they had to make it legal. It wasn't legal. So in order to make it legal, they had to have a terrorist attack so they could pass the Patriot Act, and that made it legal, what they had been doing for 20 years.
It had retroactive immunity provision, didn't it?
Well, the Patriot Act didn't, and then they got into some lawsuits, and then Congress passed a
retroactive immunity provision.
Yeah, they passed it. And in fact, when Obama ran for president in 2009, the Congress hadn't passed it yet, and he said he was going to filibuster on the floor of the Senate until hell freezes over to stop this immunity. And then all of a sudden, after he got the nomination, the Democratic nomination, then he changed his mind. He said, "Oh, well, we've ironed out all the problems, and now we can pass it." So,
isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So anyhow, that's the history of that too. And
do you believe there's going to be another 9/11?
Well, it depends. If somebody wants to be dictator bad enough, they're subject to try another terrorist attack in order to try to scare the American people into giving up their civil rights and accepting dictatorship in return for security.